Scuderia Lancia was established on February 6, 1953 by Gianni Lancia, son of the founder of the touring company of the same name. Convinced by the goodness of the Aurelia project, the road car that also won races, he decided to officially enter in the world of competition by participating in both the sport and the Formula One World Championships. In his opinion, the sporting successes and the international publicity that would derive from it would increase the sale of Lancia cars, following a bit of the example of Enzo Ferrari. In reality, after only 6 years from the creation of his company, Enzo Ferrari had already risked closing down the business in 1953 due to the enormous expenses necessary to support Scuderia Ferrari, winner of the 1952 and 1953 Formula One World Championship, which were never compensated by the sale of his Gran Turismo cars. Most likely, Gianni Lancia had considered that while Ferrari sold about 100 cars a year, including the racing cars that the drivers bought personally, Lancia was instead able to sell about 8,000 samples, in addition to thousands of industrial vehicles. And in fact, until 1953, the number had proven him right. But in that very year, the production of the Aurelia suffered a drastic drop of almost 2/3, unfortunately not compensated by the introduction of the new Appia model, since this suffered from too many defects due to poor production planning. However, the sporting adventure had begun anyway, and so the D20 and D23 sport models were born, which were immediately joined by the more performing D24 and by the D50 model for the Formula One. In parallel with the birth of the Scuderia, the construction of a transport track for the racing cars was also planned. The construction was entrusted to the Garavini body shop in Turin. The owner of the body shop, Commendatore Eusebio Garavini, had passed away in May 1947, and since then the company's production had focused only on the fitting out of city and Gran Turismo buses and some truck trailers. The company had, however, been coach-building industrial vehicles since 1908, the year of its foundation. The design of the vehicle was instead entrusted to the pencil of Count Mario Revelli di Beaumont, who applied to this vehicle the concept of a tubular trellis load-bearing structure he patented a few years earlier. A double-deck interior was thus created, equipped with a mineable mechanical platform capable of holding 4 cars and illuminated by 6 lateral portholes. The 8-seater double cabin was equipped with all comforts and had an opening roof to access on the top of the vehicle by a ladder, as well as a sleeping area that housed the folding camp beds for the mechanics, and a small workshop equipped with a workbench and tool cabinets. Under the floor of the cabin there was a 6-cylinder horizontal 24-valve 8.86 diesel engine capable of 132 horsepower at 2000 rpm. This engine was mounted on the Esatau P V30 type 3-axle chassis with front suspension equipped with a semi-elliptic leaf springs coupled with a hydraulic shock absorber, and rear suspension with reinforced leaf springs. This chassis, designed for bus construction, had a wheelbase of 5.72 meters. The gearbox with reduction gear had 8 forward gears plus 2 reverse gears. The hydropneumatic braking system operated on the 4 wheels and the transmission. The Lancia vehicle transport truck was the last built in Italy. The Scuderia Ferrari, as well as the private Scuderia Marzotto, were equipped with an Alfa Romeo 800 with 5.75 meter wheelbase, while Maserati Corse used a Fiat 642 RN with a 4.85 meter wheelbase. The Esatau P was therefore the bigger vehicle on the racing track, and unique in this kind in terms of transport capacity and functionality, as well as being entirely sponsored by the same Lancia commercial partners other than the official racing tires supplier. Gianni Lancia's idea was to spread the name of the Lancia brand around the world through this special vehicle. In the meantime, the truck proved useful for traveling to the circuits, thus saving on the cost and time of the racing car transfers, which previously took place individually on normal roads. The 1953 racing season opened with Bonetto's placing at the Mille Miglia and the Monza Grand Prix, and with Maglioli's victory at the Targa Florio. After the unfortunate participation in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, with 4 cars starting and 4 retiring, the D23 won the Porto Grand Prix with Bonetto, but the first major international opportunity was the Carrera Panamericana in November 1953. The transfer took place overland through France, where all the vehicles embarked at the port of Le Havre and reached Mexico City to take part in this difficult competition that took place on a route over 3,000 kilometers long. An Italian film crew also followed the Lancia expedition. The local public was used to witnessing long road transfer of cars from California and from all over the country, and so the presence of the Lancia truck aroused much curiosity and interest for the newborn Italian team, the only one to have a similar vehicle. In the end, the Lancia brand had a great resonance in all foreign newspapers when 3 of these cars won the race: first Fangio, second Taruffi, and third Castellotti. So Gianni Lancia had therefore achieved his goal. The 1954 racing season marked Lancia's entry into the Formula One World Championship. On February 20th, test runs were carried out at Turin-Caselle Airport and the following month at the Ospedaletti circuit near Sanremo. Unfortunately, the setup was very complicated and took a lot of months. In the meantime, the sport cars demonstrate the predominance on the Sebring circuit in Florida and in the Tourist Trophy at Dunrod in Ireland, while they won the Mille Miglia with Ascari, the Giro di Sicilia with Taruffi, and the Porto Grand Prix with Villoresi. So the first race in which the D50 took part was the Barcelona Grand Prix in October, where both cars retired. In the 1955 season, Lancia decided to concentrate only on the Formula One World Championship. The first race on the calendar was the Argentine Grand Prix in Buenos Aires on January. Once again, the Scuderia Lancia expedition was given great prominence in the newspapers. This time, the cars were sent to Buenos Aires by plane together with the drivers, while the team truck remained in Turin after loading them at the airport on a DC-6 cargo rented by the Dutch airline KLM. Unfortunately, all 4 D50s retired. The racing season was overshadowed by the alternating performance of the car, which suffered from an hasty setup. In the other 6 races contested, the D50 won only in Turin and in Naples Grand Prix with Ascari, and placed second in Pau in France, and in Monaco Grand Prix with Castellotti, who however retired at Spa in Belgium. Unfortunately, the touring company had been burdened by a financial crisis for many months, which led to Gianni Lancia's resignation as CEO. On July 7th, the Automobile Club of Turin issued a press release announcing the closure of Scuderia Lancia and its transfer to Scuderia Ferrari. The withdrawal of all material relating to the Formula One cars took place on July 28, and the Esatau P track was also included. However, Scuderia Ferrari never used it. Enzo Ferrari, in fact, sold it in 1956 to the Orfei family circus, which adapted it to its own needs, and then sold it to another circus in the 60s, who sold it again to a carousel operator in the 70s. The legendary track was spotted about 40 years ago in Udine, abandoned in a junkyard. A very sad end. Many thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share this video.